Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking the video and subscribing to the channel are free and easy for you, and they help me out a lot. If you want to go further with your support, Patreon and YouTube membership offer access to the BoshNRoll Discord community, early access to lists, written content, things like that. You can have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use YouTube membership, you also get sweet badges and emotes integrated here into YouTube. You can support the channel while you shop at tcgplayer.com by using my affiliate link in the video description, and you can play any deck anytime by using a cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. If you want to wear your support, check out the merch store. And of course, thanks for being here. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Jeremy, I am very excited to be going all the way back in time and playing some Vintage. Vintage is a format that I don't get to play enough of. It's a format I don't have enough reason to play a lot of the time. Like Legacy and Modern, there's just way more tournaments, but oh, it feels good to get back to the roots of Magic the Gathering and play some Vintage. Thank you for asking me to do this, Jeremy. Since I'm back in Vintage and I'm not here all the time, I'm going to play the deck that I like the most, which is Paradoxical Outcome. I think the wisdom at large in Vintage right now is that the Bazaar decks have enough free spells that they can really play all sorts of games. It's not like all in on Dredge like it used to be. Blue Tinker, just like a generic blue soup deck that is hyper-focused on resolving the card Tinker, is kind of how blue decks are built primarily, and opening yourself up to all kinds of hate by trying to resolve a specific named card in Paradoxical Outcome opens you up to things that you don't need to if you're in a more concentrated blue soup deck. But I don't care. I'm here to have a good time, and I have a good time casting Paradoxical Outcome. If you've never seen this archetype before, if you're new to Vintage, 3 and a blue, instant, return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hands. Draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. Moxen and Mana Crypt and all these artifacts are non-token, non-land permanents, and they make more mana when they're in play than they cost to cast. So if you have Mana Crypt, Mox Sapphire, Mox Ruby in play, you can cast Paradoxical Outcome off of those 3 permanents, targeting those 3 permanents, then they come back to your hand, you draw 3 new cards, and then you get to replay those 3 permanents, plus anything else you drew along the way. The goal being, the first PO is for like 3 or 4, the second one's for 5 or 6, and once you're over 4 mana, you're actually making mana when you resolve Paradoxical Outcome, because you get to float mana off the other permanents you're bouncing. Then you do it for like 5 or 6, float 2. The next one you bounce 7 or 9 permanents and gain mana along the way. And then once we're doing that, we have all this mana, all these cards. You can take infinite turns with Time Vault and Manifold Key. Time Vault enters the battlefield tapped. It doesn't untap during your untap step. You can skip your turn to untap it, and you tap it to take an extra turn. Manifold Key, 1 tap, untap another target artifact. This is a 4 mana combo, 2 for the vault, 1 for the key, 1 to tap the key. That takes infinite turns. Urza Saga can put the Manifold Key into play from your deck while making giant constructs, because your deck is mostly artifacts. This is the sideways juke. We're attacking on the ground. We're tutoring for Manifold Key. All the while, we're threatening Paradoxical Outcome to just end the game at any time. Snapcaster Mage is especially fun with Paradoxical Outcome because you can snap Paradoxical Outcome and pick up the Snapcaster Mage, and basically doubles all your outcomes. Monastery Mentor triggers off non-creature spells, not just instants and sorceries, any non-creature spell, including all these artifacts that we're picking up and putting down. Tinker for Bolas' Citadel, still in the deck, of course. That's another great way to cast tons of spells in one turn. Narset is completely cracked in Vintage. Teferi puts the shields up and helps you fight against counter hate. And Karn the Great Creator is just a one-sided null rod that can also win the game immediately with Mycosynth Lattice, if you have enough mana to do so. Just raw power all around. Protection for your spells and Force of Will and Flusterstorm. Mystical Tutor can find your Tinker faster, or your Ancestral Recall, or your PO, whatever you're looking for. This is just a nice, squeaky smooth deck. There's lots of builds of Paradoxical Outcome that are out there. I know blue-black has been popular in the past. This one is blue-white. I pulled this list from last week's Vintage Challenge. I believe this list won. I know Justin Ganari recently top 8'd, maybe top 4'd the Vintage Showcase Challenge with a build of Paradoxical Outcome. The deck is doing numbers here and there. It is still the second most popular deck on MTG Goldfish as well. Just really great, really popular, really embodies the Vintage spirit. There's just so much bullshit you can do with this deck, and that's what I want to be doing in Vintage. I won Vintage Eternal Weekend playing Paradoxical Outcome a few years ago. I top 8'd 2 other Vintage champs with Paradoxical Outcome since then. This deck and I have a long history together. I will admit I'm not super fluent in the current Vintage metagame. I just haven't touched it in a few months, but I am excited to play this deck, and the great thing about Vintage is things don't change that much. I should have a pretty good sense of what's going on still. Let's jump in. It is my honor to announce the Oklahoma Land Run Championships for 2022. This is a tournament series run out of Game HQ in their fabulous retail store in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Legacy and Vintage Open Championships will be held Saturday, July 23rd and Sunday, July 24th of 2022. Both tournaments have a $100 entry, 2K value prize pool guaranteed, and scale up with attendance. Proxies are allowed for reserve list cards. Prizes in the past have included dual lands and pieces of Power 9. These tournaments are run at cost, and the more players that show up, the better the prize pool becomes. If you're planning to make the trip and you want to try to earn a buy, talk to your local game store about reaching out to the Land Run to run a trial. The winner of each trial gets a buy at a main event. I encourage you to take this opportunity to support an independent tournament organizer running paper, Legacy, and Vintage for big prizes. This is the future of Eternal formats. I hope you make your plans to attend today. All registration links and information is in the video description below. I am on the draw in round 1. My opponent pitched to Serum Powder and then kept their second 7. This hand is not going to race Dredge. And we've got Icarid, Cabal Therapy, Creeping Chill. Yeah, this is actual factual Dredge. Let me look at my deck and figure out what a hand needs to do to beat Dredge. And I think it's just go fast. Karn can get Tormud's Crypt or Soul Guide Lantern, but generally I just need to go fast here, so I'm going to mulligan this. Okay. How about a turn 3 win with Force Backup? Is that fast enough for you? I'll keep this and put Teferi on the bottom. Is Teferi worse than Merchant Scroll? Yes. Okay. Let's do this thing. The key being in my hand is almost worse than being in my deck. Maybe that's not true, because then Saga can get Black Lotus and make sure I have the mana to execute my combo. By the way, turn 3 is probably too slow to beat Dredge. I'm just doing my best here. Got 2 Stinkweed Imps and a Shambling Shell. Mentor. I can Force of Will a Force of Vigor, so going Urza Saga Manifold Key. Yeah, I want to get that set up, because if I draw any fast mana next turn, then I'm good to go. Like, I have a turn 2 win if I can speed this up at all. But Dredge on 7 cards is really scary. They have so many pitch spells. Like I said in the deck tech, they're just ready to interact in a way that previous Dredge decks from the past have not. Please don't have the misstep. Oh no! Pain in my ass. You get one of those in Vintage, and it was in their hand. Now I'm just wrecked to a Force of Vigor. Let's hope they don't have that. Okay, they untapped. Activate Bazaar in the upkeep. That lets you dredge twice and refill your graveyard before your draw step. With this many dredgers in the graveyard, I don't think that matters much, but it's still... There are times where it matters a lot. Like if you only have one dredger, then just making sure that you can dredge once and discard again before your draw step. Shit, they hit 3 Narcomoebas and Cabal Therapy. Hope they don't hit another therapy, but they might just name Time Vault anyway. It is only a 1-of, but it's the 1-of that kills them. Really wish I had drawn Black Lotus for my turn. Would add the turn 1 win. But oh well, this is Vintage. Noxious Revival, their mental misstep. That's interesting. Why would they do that? Do they think... are they worried about Ancestral Recall? Does that mean they're not going to dredge? They're going to draw mental misstep? Because I'm pretty happy with that situation. There's 1 Cabal Therapy in the graveyard. If they name Time Vault in the blind, then they're going to win this game. If they don't, then I have a really good chance. Here it is. Moment of truth. Yep. They've played Vintage before. I had it, and now I don't have it anymore. Disappointing. Play draw, baby. But if I was on the play, I would be super dead because I would not even know that they were dredge because I would have had to keep my hand before they pitched a Serum Visions or Serum Powder. Whatever that Serum object is. I'd still be pretty happy with a non-Opal MONKS here if I can start using my Saga or get this Mentor into play. Both of those things are useful. Is this game winnable? I don't think it is, but I will play my land and take another turn anyway. Maybe they'll just be incredibly unlucky for the rest of the game. In Vintage games are always winnable. Until they're not. Like, as long as you have a draw step, you could still play. And we're learning so much about their deck. Here's Force of Wills and Force of Negation. So they have at least 5 forces in the main deck. They hit another Cabal Therapy. There's a bridge, so they can strip my Mentor. Grief is in this build also. They can therapy my Mentor if they even care. We know they have Misstep in hand, so drawing Ancestral Recall or something like that isn't helpful. I would not be mad about drawing Tinker. That one's still alive. At 11 life, Bolus of Citadel is a lot worse, and I guess it would actually be 9 life, given my fetch land situation here. They don't have a Yawgmoth's Will or anything like that. Their Amalgams come back. I'm going to fetch in the end step. I don't want to draw a land. I'll just get that out of the way now. I am dead on board. Got to make whatever this is happen right now. Need a big draw. And them floating the Misstep is paying off long term because Ancestral Recall is really the card. Tinker and Ancestral Recall are the 2 cards that work here for me. And they Misstep might be doing double duty that we don't even know about as being a blue card to pitch to a force. Well, so you're saying there's a chance. I have in fact drawn Tinker. Sensei's Top is an infinite combo. Or, well, not with mana, with a Misstep in play, it's not, but it is a good one. Do I want Lotus or do I want Top? Top gets me 1 card, clears 1 card off the top of the deck. I guess I'm grabbing Top. Oh, Lotus leaves mana floating. If I get like Soul Ring, that actually sets up a permanent that's worth looping, but that's a 1 mana card. I'm trying to respect this mental misstep where I can. Could just shove into it with Top. I'm going to spend all this time thinking, and they're just going to have Force of Will anyway. I'm going to get a Top. And I will slam the best draw in my deck, and then see if there's anywhere to go left in this game. Do you have a Force of Will? Disappointing. Yep. All right. The game is over. I ripped my 1 outer, my 1 chance to actually play the game, but the way they set that all up and the way Dredge is constructed, I was pretty sure it was not going to resolve. Yep, a Dredge opponent on 7 is not really a beatable thing and has not been for quite some time. I'm going to board in all of my hate. I am not going to worry about Karn the Great Creator here and leaving something in the wish board. I would rather just have these good cards in my deck. Balance can clean up a board state where I'm behind against creatures, or I could ignore that and just try to combo out over the top of them. Hurkyl's Recall is not for this matchup. These repeals are not great for the matchup either, but repeal is like you can repeal Mox Sapphire basically as free cycling because taps for a blue, bounces itself, replay it, you get your blue back. Top is a little slow for this matchup. I can cut at least one of those. I like having one in there to go nutty with Bolus of Citadel because you can tap top to draw a card and then pay 1 life to cast the top from the top of the deck and just go 20 cards into your deck. Pretty good stuff. Like a Taxian Probe. I hate that I actually do care what's in their hand. Probably looking at repeals. Yeah, repeal is not super inspiring here. I think Sphinx is too slow. The Flusterstorms could be good. Those might be better than repeal. Because Dredge does have a ton of interaction, but they are also constantly making their hand smaller with Bazaar Baghdad. And if you ever get a counter off on them, it's going to be huge. Maybe I don't want all 3 Flusterstorms. I'll bring in 1 extra. but I'm out of cards I want to cut here. On the play, I have Ancestral Recall. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to play Pithing Needle on Bazaar Baghdad with Force Backup, and then I can also Ancestral Recall. This is some vintage magic right here. Opponent mull to 4. I like that. I'm going to start with the Ancestral. Okay, sweet. Oh god, we might not even need to Pithing Needle, or at least not right away. I'm going to Paradoxical Outcome for 3. It's taking turns vintaging each other here. With them being on 4 cards and me having Force Backup, I'm willing to take some risks here. Normally this line would expose itself to a Force of Vigor, like so. Let's hope they don't have 2 of them. If they kept a hand with Bazaar, they can't have another piece of interaction here. If they pitch cast anything else, then they just have no cards. Drew another Outcome. This is exactly how this is supposed to work. Yeah, we're shredding now. Soul Ring. And drawing the extra card off Needle, I think, is worth it. I'm going to name Bazaar. Just in case. I don't think they can counter this, but just in case they do, I want to name the correct card. And all these cards are back in my hand again. If I had planned this out better, I might have been able to cast. Yeah, if I had left black floating instead of white, I would be able to cast my Ballistic Citadel here. I might be able to anyway with the Manifold Key. Let's figure this out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I could also just Needle Bazaar, play Karn. What does Karn do? Karn gets Lattice for next turn. I'm going to play Needle on Bazaar again. Bazaar Baghdad. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast Karn. And I'm going to run out this Needle. I'm going to grab Lattice. Because I have Needle on Bazaar. They have 2 cards in hand. I have 2 counter spells to protect my Needle. And I can hard cast Ballistic Citadel next turn. Yeah, that's a Dredge player on 4 compared to a Dredge player on 7. Also play draw, huge factor there. This is a wonderful showcase of vintage, though. We have both taken turns just vintaging the shit out of each other. Now it's game 3. I'm on the draw. I think Flusterstorm is exactly the same on the draw as it is on the play. Like, good or badness, because all of their cards are pitch casts. And I won't have any permanents in play for their Flusterstorm. Yeah, I actually think or for their Force of Vigor, I actually do think I want all my Flusterstorms. Because just winning that one fight is so big. I'm going to shave a Mox Opal. I can't really afford dead cards in my hand. And I am the control deck in the matchup, so generally the faster the matchup is, the more Opals you want. Or the faster you're trying to be in a matchup, the more Opals you want. I am the control deck in these post-board games, and I'm going to play as such. Okay, I have a Grafdigger's Cage with protection. Opponent kept 7 after pitching 1 Serum Powder. I mean, I'm not mulling this hand. Let's go. Their Serum Powder got rid of 2 Hollow Ones and a Prized Amalgam. Hollow Ones are the card in their deck that ignores Grafdigger's Cage the best. I'm glad to see 2 of those gone, but there are still 2 in there. Chalice on 0. That's a pain in the ass, and I've boarded out all my repeals. But nothing I can do about it. Damn it. I have to pace this game out now. So I play Island. They attack me to 16. I play Urza Saga. They attack me to 12. I make my first Construct token, which will be a 2/2. They attack me to 8. I make my second one, which will be a 3/3 and then a 4/4. Okay, I can race this thing. Even accounting for the fetch land and the Force of Will, I'm still winning this race. And I think I do need to lead on the land, not on the Saga, because I do need to get constructs out of this situation. Force of Negation, Force of Will you back. And I'm going to pitch the Flusterstorm. I know that's my second layer of protection, but I think like I have 1 turn to cast spells, and this Ponder is the last remaining spell. Okay, Icarid can't come back. Creeping Chills are in their deck. That can mess up my clock. That Narcomoeba is stuck down there. If they have Force of Vigor and a green card, life is going to be really hard. So if I had kept... Oh, fuck. That Wasteland probably is going to win the game. I got to find another plan that doesn't lose to Chalice. That's a plan. Okay. But nope, no it's not, because Citadel's in my hand already. Okay, Ponder. Am I just gonna die to this solo hollow one? Probably. That's how it's looking. Soul Ring. Time Walk. Those are both good cards. What can I tinker into? It's Vault Key is how I get out of this, I guess. So I don't want Misstep, I'm pretty sure of that. And then Soul Ring and Time Walk. I am not going to shuffle my library. If I play the Saga, they can waste immediately. But I'm not playing through that anyway. Just make them do it, I guess. They should waste now if they're going to do it. Alright, get a Soul Ring out of it. If they waste in response to the trigger, then I don't even get mana out of it. And maybe I'm supposed to have Sphinx in for exactly this situation. Found a Creeping Chill, Tilt. That is exactly the card that they were looking for off Bazaar. Yeah, I think Sphinx wins this game. Oh, no, it doesn't, because I have to sack Cage to get Sphinx, and then their Dredge deck is unlocked. Yeah, I need a miracle, basically, is what needs to happen. So they attack me to 8. 1 card in their hand. Drawing Time Walk. I can tinker, or Teferi gets me out of this, at least temporarily. If I can find a path to Teferi, that Wasteland was really good. I could tinker for Time Vault. I could tinker for Top and spend my Time Walk turn looking for action. Then I lose Soul Ring. And Soul Ring and Cage are 2 cards I can PO with despite the Chalice. Oh, that's rough. I'm going to fetch and then Time Walk, because I don't want to draw the Mental Misstep. I'll take another draw before I have to make any decisions here. A little Time Walk action. Because if I draw the key and then... Like, if this gives me another chance, like a draw step in Vintage is worth a lot. Oh wait, I can't cast spells with Citadel anyway because of Cage. I'm glad I'm figuring all this out before it's too late. Bummer. Okay, I can tinker for Vault and just hope that I find key. Really wish I had a Sphinx in my deck. Yeah, Top is going to be way too slow at this point. Tinkering for Lotus doesn't help. What routes do I have to the key? There are not very many, and I'm dead in 1 turn to the hollow one anyway. Is it possible that I just get Soul Guide Lantern? When Creeping Chill, you may exile. Okay, so maybe I have to get Soul Guide Lantern, which can cantrip. Oh, it's so bad. All of this is so bad. A Sphinx away, folks. Sideboard error. So I'll take the Time Vault and just clench my cheeks for 1 turn. Yeah, so if they don't have Wasteland, I win. If I board in Sphinx, I win. Vintage is frequently won on the edges. Like, game 1 and game 2 were games that were not won on the edges. Those were just absolute laughers in one direction or the other. This game is absolutely won on the edges. That one Wasteland was the difference between winning and losing. Me not planning for a game plan. Like, Sphinx, I don't think is that good against Dredge when it's doing its thing. But I didn't plan for a world where I was impeding their thing enough that Sphinx would be good. And they hit a Creeping Chill, which is exactly 7. So, GG. Having Citadel in my hand and the non-bow with Grafdigger's Cage, my opening hand did what I needed it to. It's just they had exactly enough interaction to keep me off balance. Great match. On to the next one. Upon quick reflection last round, I couldn't actually get Sphinx because of Cage, and then Cage unlocks their graveyard, which I almost certainly lose to. So it was the Wasteland that got me that game. Okay, new match. I am on the draw again. I have a Force of Will, a quick route to Ancestral, and PO can be a blue card for Force, or it can be a PO. Let's see how the game shakes out. A workshop strategy. All right, here we go. I'm going to pitch Outcome here. You can't beat Thorn. I'm going to counter it. Play draw is huge in this matchup. It's huge in all of Vintage, but this matchup especially. They are a wasteland deck, and unfortunately this is not the blue MONKS. Okay, I'm gonna scroll. I can get the Hercules recall and just set up for a later part of the game. I could get the Ancestral and hope they don't chalice on one, but they would have chaliced on 0 if they had that card. I'm not worried about that. Yeah, like Ancestral can load up, or I could just pop the Hercules in my hand and wait. I think I want an Ancestral. Because untapping into 3 mana when they didn't do anything with their follow-up last turn. Oh, they had the double shop hand. All right, we might not be able to cast this card after all. Boundary Inspector, okay. I like seeing the creature side of their deck. I don't like seeing the prison side of the deck. Another one. Nettle Cyst, okay. Very fast creature clock. No disruption. If they drew Chalice, they could still drop it on 0. They have one of the cleanest foundries I've ever seen. Repeal, that's a big one. I'm going to Ancestral myself. And I'm going to get Saga in. Wish I had blue mana up to repeal with, but I don't. And if they don't wasteland me right now, they're in trouble. But they do play a lot of that card. That was their top deck, or else it would have been in play already. Ancient Doom, 1 card left in their hand. Oh god. Just Walking Ballista for 1,000,000. It is indeed. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Alright. Now I'm in trouble. And there's not a good way out of this. Like, they could put me to 3 at instant speed. Bouncing Walking Ballista doesn't even help with repeal because they can ping me for 4 and then redeploy it as another 5/5 next turn. I could get a look at their hand, then die. And an extra card is worth a lot. I'm not winning this game if they get another turn anyway. I'll go to effectively 1. Mox Opal, not helpful. I can repeal the Germ token. See what happens here. Valerian Academy is a pretty powerful magic card. Mox Opal, Academy, 1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, I'm running out of gas here. Narset can find an artifact to turn on Opal or a card. Womp. 1 mana short of dying to Ballista Citadel anyway. Okay, yeah, they came out hot. I was glad that they didn't have another lock piece, but that Force of Will I spent on their first lock piece, they really only needed the 1. Powerful stuff. All right, I won't be fooled again. Sphinx is coming in. The Hercules recalls come in. Towards the Plowshares, Fragmentize, probably Balance. Pithing Needle can name Wasteland if that's something I care about, but that's in the maybe pile. Gitaxian Probe comes out. Flusterstorm comes out. I like my fast mana and my counters. Mental Misstep comes out. Force of Will's in. I like all the Paradoxical outcomes because you do kind of have to go fast. Merchant Scroll can be a little clunky. Top can be a little clunky too if you're just trying to shred. Is Karn actually good in this matchup? Sometimes Karn is busto, sometimes it's doesn't do much. Need the forces. The repeals are like good, but am I just upgrading them into Hercules? Is that how this works? 4 is so many repeals. I'm sure there is a good reason for that, but I've only ever played 2 before in PO. Like 0, 1, and 2 are the numbers I'm familiar with, and I'm not quite sure how having 4 of that card maps out. Teferi doesn't matter a whole lot. Like, Teferi can bounce a permanent, but my opponent's not going to be casting any instants. Alright, yeah, Teferi probably is the worst card here. Let's go. This one is too slow. The Citadel's already a mulligan. No interaction. Like, repeal doesn't count. Can't turn 1 time walk. I'm going to mulligan this. This one, if I keep this and play key, put PO on the bottom, his hand's not really going anywhere either. I'm mulligan again. Oh god, it's getting worse. Oh no, mull to 4. This matchup's supposed to be good. Okay, I'm going to keep this one. Don't need 2 Hercs. 4 is so few cards. Guess Karn's got to go. And I can send the tutor for a chance at ever casting Hercs, or send the Hercs and hope Tutor does enough on its own. All right. I'm doing that. I hate this. Yeah, Paradoxical Outcome was the deck that had enough raw power that it could punch through Workshops. Workshops was oppressive against the entire Vintage format for a very long time. And PO was finally the blue deck that could give it a run for its money. Okay, I can let that resolve. That I can still Mystical Tutor. That's not a big deal. Right, so I'm going to Mystical. That stops me from tinkering, which is a disappointment. Sure, I just get Ancestral, right? Or do I get Balance? Yeah, Balance makes them Hellbent, kills their creature. I lose a land, but they lose everything. And, or they, okay, so if I cast Balance, we're both Hellbent. I have Tundra in play. I have Tundra, Mox Sapphire in play to their Mishra's Workshop Soul Ring, and they get the first top deck. That sounds bad. Damn, that was so exciting. I guess I just get Ancestral. Boring. Okay, let's go. Help me out here. Undo this mulligan to 4. Okay, Urza Saga was a good find. Ruby is not susceptible to the Lodestone tax. Drop that one. I wish that Balance made sense. Patchwork Automaton. Alright, this is a pretty aggressive version of this. I wonder if this card has a combo. Like, are they like bouncing or artifacts somehow, or is it just good enough on rate? Just a large creature with Ward 2, which is pretty good. Revoker. That can't name Urza Saga, as Revoker is non-land. The way you play shops, by the way, is always save the most miserable thing you can do for last. So your opponent just is like, okay, that's not too bad. Okay, I have a plan here. And then attack, second main wasteland. That's how that works. They give you as much hope as they can and then take it from you in the most dramatic fashion. What they do with this Revoker will tell me a lot. Like, they can name one of the Moxen that are in play. They can proactively name Time Vault, make sure they don't die. If they have Wasteland ready, then they'll probably name one of my Moxen. They have their own Saga. Okay, that is scary, but at least it's not Wasteland. They named Mox Sapphire with the Revoker, and they have Ballista on 1. Okay, they've successfully dumped their hand. Let's see what my deck is willing to ship me here. That's a good one. Okay. I can make a construct. I can Hurkyl's Recall. Can't do both. I would like to save the Hurkyl's if I can get away with it. But if they just like present lethal or something here, I'm going to have to jam. Got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, 5, 6, 7, 8. Didn't attack with the little creatures. If I make a construct, it's a 3/3. I can tangle. Yeah, I'm going to make a construct to trade with Lodestone Golem. At least I hope. That's my plan. Put my 3/3 in front of their 5/3. It's buying time until this Herx can actually win the game on its own. They're still in end of combat and they're tapping mana. Just lost track of the phases, probably. I don't expect there to actually be some artifact instant. Okay, here it comes. What's the follow-up? Ballista on 2. Okay, I mean, that's annoying, but I can manage. Then I draw for turn, see what my options are. Oh, Ballista Citadel is a good card. I can tutor for Black Lotus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Any mana source gets me Hurkyl's Recall. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, let's just get Black Lotus. Do the thing. Metal 11. Black Lotus. Black, black, black. 1, 2. Citadel. Mox Pearl, get in. Hurkyl's Recall, get in. You have to be careful because they can replay these ballistas. They can ping me for 1 here on the way out. You probably want to do it for 2 though, because the other one is redundant. Like, I don't think, yeah, okay. They agreed with that. You want to go all the way in to constrict my mana or my options this turn, or have 1 to reset next turn? That's a little bit interesting. Okay, yeah, they're just constricting my options as much as possible right now. That's a vintage player. All right, Narset, I'm at 3. Emerald. Tundra on top of the deck. I'm going to activate Narset to clear that. Not quite ready to... Oh, I have a land drop, but Academy's still in my deck. That's a tough call. I'm going to use my land drop. Time Walk can put me to 1. I think I have to Narset here. I do like the Time Walk. I don't like going to 1 to cast it. All right, there's an outcome. Now we're going. EO. 1, 2, 3, 4. Outcome, target all of my Moxen and Narset. Pick them up. And found a repeal. There's another PO on top of my deck. The repeal can draw the PO without spending 4 life on it. Combo Wing. And a Vault, get in. I can Hercules as Dark Ritual too. I can float all my... Oh, nope, I lose my Citadel. Never mind. Normally you can tap all your Mox in, Hercules yourself, and get extra mana out of it. But I don't recommend doing that here. I bounce my Sapphire, which draws outcome. So my Sapphire back in. Outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have white red in the pool. There's a Tinker. And there's a Time Vault. That should do it. Box Opal off the top of the deck. Another Hercules on top. That doesn't matter, but it's there. Okay, tap the Mana Vault to cast Time Vault. Then I'm going to sack the Mana Vault to Tinker so I don't take 1. Get my Manifold Key. We'll see if my opponent is a make me play it out kind of homie. Seems that they are, but I am okay playing it out. Not even mad about it. Karn's on top of my deck. That's pretty good. Discard. I don't need these Force of Wills. Take my extra turn. Draw Karn. Urza Saga is a win condition. Okay, they just wanted to see how I was actually going to win the game. That's a fair thing to wait for, and then they conceded as soon as I found a way to generate damage. Nice. That was the mull to 4. That was not bad. Okay, on the draw now. Repeal is pretty dope. But I think 3 is probably enough. I brought in the Plow and the Fragmentize. Okay, let's go. This one is not a keeper. This is among the worst hands. Like, if I picked 7 cards to be like, I hope these 7 cards aren't my hand, it would be these 7. Mulligan. Okay, here we go. Force of Will, blue card. Urza Saga. I'm going to keep this. And I think Repeal is the worst card in this hand, unfortunately, because it's a sweet one. I love me that Brainstorm. So I think Brainstorm is the pitch if I have to pitch something. Not going to fight over Arcbound Ravager. The Vault. This is a lot of mana. Still haven't played a land yet either. Oh, they could Paradoxical Outcome right now. This looks like my deck. Oh, that one is a problem. Force pitching Brainstorm. I'm going to keep the Hercules. Oh, okay. I was going to play Saga this turn, but I guess I'm still playing Saga. So I would like to make sure I'm still alive on my next turn. Though the fact that their whole hand is fast mana kind of changes that. Wasteland gets Urza Saga anyway. Yeah, I'm going to play the Scalding Tarn and the Mox Jet. They have 1 card left in their hand. If I can tinker up a Citadel or a Sphinx on a stable board, I'm going to be okay with that. They didn't play a land last turn at all, which means they're either sandbagging Wasteland or they just don't have a land. This is a painful spread of mana rocks, though. They won the crypt flip, and they're going to take 1 from Mana Vault. Oh, wait, no, they're spending their turn untapping Mana Vault? Wow, okay. They must not have a real card in their hand, which is good news for me. Strip Mine. Okay. Told you. Well, if they know how this works, they still get to Strip Mine me. Disappointing. Let's hope they don't know how it works. Or I could draw just a non-Saga land. Alright, Urza Saga, see if it works. Oh, they don't know how to do that. Deal. They can Strip Mine in response, but now I can float mana, if they even think that's important. And I am going to get Tundra. Strip Mine doesn't care if it's basic or not. And I'm holding a white card. Let's go. Oh, Archive Trap. That's fun. That was the last card in your hand. What did they hit? They hit Sphinx. and just Sphinx. Okay. Weird. Alright, guess I'm getting Bolus's Citadel. Yeah, Vault and Key are both still in my deck. Yeah. Key, Vault, and Citadel are all still here. At the Citadel and immediately out of gas. But they're top decking. 1, 2, 3, 4. They could attack for 5 next turn. Alright. That was a sad Citadel, but at least we have it in play. I'm not going to complain about having this card in play. No way. Please don't draw an answer to it. Or a lock piece. A lock piece. Oh, I could fragmentize a lock piece. Alright, Automaton is in it. They probably want to strip mine me here. Or I get to just untap with all my stuff, but your call. They sacked Mana Crypt. Alright, yeah, they're just pushing for damage now. And the harder they push for damage, the better this Hurkyl's Recall is. Strip mined the Urza Saga, which is not the one that they need to be worried about, but they don't know that. There's Time Vault. I'm at 13. Play Tundra. Play Hurkyl's Recall, target you. Another one on top of my deck. I could keep shredding now, or I could let them play out all their cards and then Hurk them. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass, I think. Just having Hurks on top is kind of like Time Walk. And then resetting Citadel to just try again next turn where I have my land drop again. I like. Vault. Automaton. Sapphire. Ravager. I'm gonna Hurk in the end step. Oh, there's Mana Vault. Would have won the game last turn, but no, I'm just gonna do it now instead. I'm not gonna skip my turn to untap this. I'm gonna draw Manifold Key, Urza Saga, and win the game. Key. There we go. PO combo to shop deck. One of them off a Multifor, and then the other one just a clean, no disruption, no chance sort of game plan. On to the next one. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the draw for round 3, my opponent's on 6 already. This hand is pretty interactive with Misstep and Force. One MONKS makes this hand a monster. I'm going to keep this. I think I mulligan this on the play, but on the draw, giving my deck a chance to produce a second land or any mana rock. Both make this hand pretty good. I also would not fault anyone for mulling this hand. Oh god, a bizarre deck. What flavor are we? Force of Vigor, Bloodghast, Stitcher Supplier. Once Upon a Time. I'm gonna let that resolve. I have kind of gotten into forcing Once Upon a Time in blue decks versus Hogak or Vine decks, but I'm a much more proactive blue deck. I was talking about specifically in like the context of a like fair blue deck, but I'm an unfair blue deck, which changes the math considerably. Just jamming this Urza Saga right now because that gets the key, which wins with the vault, and I don't need to make any constructs if that happens. And I can save my Force of Will for a Force of Vigor. This is a Wasteland deck, or at least they usually are, I think. Some builds do have Wasteland, some don't, but I expect it out of this one, for sure. Basking Rootwalla, Vengevine is in the graveyard. I don't think I counter this Rootwalla, because it just doesn't do anything, doesn't matter, other than attacking. Like if I can save that for a Stitcher Supplier or something that really rips, that's a game changer. Deathrite Shaman. I guess I would count that as a game changer. I'm taking 4. All right, yeah, I'm going to misstep the Deathrite. That thing can change the pace of a game considerably. So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm at 3 on board. I'm at 1 if I crack Delta and pitch to Force. But 1 is enough to win a game with, so let's try it. This is going to be a razor thin one. They also have Hogak right now. I'm in a lot of trouble. Maybe just don't have it. Okay, yeah, they passed the turn. Deal, 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 deal. Okay, I am casting Time Vault. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, I'm going to cast Time Vault and hope they don't have Wasteland. Go. Here's the Bazaar. 2 more looks at Wasteland. They are 16 cards into their deck. They play at least 4 of that effect, if they play any. Please just miss. How about that? Just miss. The second Vengevine also kills me for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, second Vengevine kills me for Xaxes. This is another play draw coming down to the wire. If I were on the play this game, I would be taking infinite turns already. Oh, they had the fucking strip mine. Okay, fine. Fine. We knew that was a possibility. Let's just rip the key. Key off the top, let's go. No, I cannot untap Time Vault. Key off the top, let's go. Shit. All right. Yep, play draw. They might add the strip mine anyway, where they just win a turn later, but that was close. Came down to 1 card. Sphinx of the Steel Wind, Pithing Needle, Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, I think just all this stuff comes in. Swords to Plowshares I like in this matchup. Balance is good in this matchup. Perks comes out. Mental Misstep is fine. I don't really care what's in their hand for Gitaxian Probe. Top is a little too slow. They're probably going to have Force of Vigors. I probably still don't want Flusterstorm. Teferi's real bad, actually. Narset is fine because they're a Bazaar deck that doesn't have dredge cards, so Narset actually does pinch them pretty significantly. Do I cut Citadel against the deck that's going to be pressuring me this hard? Citadel's bad against Vengevine and also bad against Force of Vigor and also bad with Grafdigger's Cage. All right, I'm switching that over to Sphinx. I can take all the turns or have a 6/6 lifelink. And maybe Flusterstorm is bad. And I could shave an Outcome and an Opal and do it like this. Maybe Repeal is worse than Opal. But Repeal, they could have Collector Oofs. Okay. I'm going to insulate against Collector Oof and Force of Vigor and all those things by shaving an Opal. This one is not playable. Ooh, I don't hate this. Opponent kept 7. I'm going to keep and put, I think it's Narset on the bottom. I'm in a lot of trouble to a Wasteland. I think that's okay. Yeah, I'm going to bottom Narset. Or do I send the Balance? Because Narset is my blue card to pitch for Force, and then I can Mystical for Tinker or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of Balance, actually. Undra, Soul Ring. I'm going to Needle on Bazaar. And I can force a Force. Needling Wasteland would be kind of interesting here, because that unlocks my Tinker. Interesting. Because I have the Needle, I'm not going to force this. They do keep a lot of hands without Bazaar on the strength of Once Upon a Time, and then Force of Will frequently results in them not having Bazaar, but I have Needle. They found a Wasteland but didn't use it. The Doctor. I'm not going to fuck with the Doctor. Do I take a draw step or do I Mystical immediately? I'm going to take the draw. Not pretty. Hand's going nowhere fast, it seems. And because of Deathrite Shaman, Wasteland becomes just like so obviously good. It doesn't even set you back. If I Mystical, I could also just play Snapcaster to challenge the board and try to draw a land later. I could float blue and then see what they want to say about that. But I'm just going to play Snapcaster. Because if I Mystical for a spell, I can't cast that spell anyway until I find a land. So let me just defend the board a little bit and try to get a land going. As soon as I find land, I can tutor for Tinker. Hard casting a Once Upon a Time. Collector Roof. Okay. Come on. Island. Tilt. Oh, I'll attack. I probably am going to force Collector Oof because turning off all of my Moxen is a huge nightmare. Unlocking Force of Vigor sucks really hard, but I'm not going to beat Collector Oof anyway. That's like letting them have Force of Vigor, just in case they have Force of Vigor. Okay, there's the Bazaar. Come on, Island. Yeah, Island. Getting in. There's no lands left in the deck to feed the Doctor. Ditcher Supplier can fill the graveyard for sure. 2 Blood Gas. That was and a Bazaar that would have been dead if they drew it. Just that was among the nuttiest. Yes, they played Beseju. That is their out to Sphinx. They probably have more than one, but having this one in play is a relief to me. 8 their Bazaar with the Doctor. No! Well, Soul Ring's off. I can't cast Tinker anymore. Yeah, they really had my number here. Guess I'm getting Ancestral Recall and hoping for the best. Oh, they have Hogak also. Wow. That was a big turn. Seems I was a moment late on this island. I'm going to get Ancestral and hope that it does anything. Like white land and balance is probably what I'm looking for at this point. If they didn't have Oof, that shit would be crazy. If I draw a white land that unlocks all of these things. Okay, there's 1 Tundra and a couple of fetch lands left in my deck. Hogak, Bloodghast are attacking. Blocking Bloodghast even matter. Hogak has Trample, by the way, in case you forgot about that card. I'm going to absorb just a little bit of damage that I can. A land drop gets the Bloodghast right back, but I don't know that I can stop that. Come on, Tundra. Tundra? Okay. The second Collector Oof was enough. Had a plan to fight through one of them, but just disruptive enough to collapse my hand. This matchup is tough, by the way. They just have a lot of stuff like Collector Oof and Force of Vigor and a really quick clock. On to the next one. I am on the draw again, 4 for 4 on losing die rolls. I have a really crunchy slow hand with no interaction. It's not necessarily bad, but I'm going to keep it. Urza Saga just represents so much, just being able to tutor half of a game-winning combo on its own. I'm 1 artifact mana away from turn 1 Karn. There's a lot to like about this hand. Ooh, a Polluted Delta, a MONKS, a real MONKS. We have a serious vintage player here. Force of Will. Bummer. 1, 2. I think I just play Saga and Sapphire and pass. I don't want them to know about Opal yet, but Sapphire at least represents Flusterstorm or something they have to think about. Hull Breacher, huh? Yeah, that's a good one. Shit. Okay, this is one of the fair decks that exists in the format. They just back up a bunch of Hull Breachers and Urza Sagas with counter magic. Luckily, my hand is uniquely situated to ignore Hull Breacher because it does not contain the ability to draw cards. I'd love to draw a blue card, just help my Force of Will out here a little bit. Alright, I can cast Karn here. Yeah, the Mana Crypt wasn't 2 mana, it was actually 3 mana because it also unlocks Mox Opal. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana right now. Is Karn even good? Is the important follow-up question. So Island, Mana Crypt, Mox Opal. I could slam Karn, or I could just start making constructs. I think I want to make constructs, then I can do Karn stuff next turn. I can't do both. I could do both next turn. Mox Jet. Land, 2 cards left in their hand. No attack, probably smart because my thing is bigger than theirs. Also is holding up Hardcast Force of Will just in case there. 4/4 creature, theirs will be a 4/4 also, but mine will be a 6/6 by then. Draw for turn, repeal, that's a sweet one. Make another construct. Do I want mana? Do I want key? Key does make creatures unblockable. That is the flavor text on this. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. All right, I'm going to get Manifold Key. It also represents mana with Mana Crypt. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to fetch for my Tundra. I found the blue card to back up Force also. I can also give my construct Fake Vigilance. That's a thing I can do. Yeah, I'm gonna attack with a construct. Maybe that didn't make any sense. No, all right. I can't give it vigilance and cast Karn. It was one or the other. Oh no, I have 2 MONKS Opals. I'm good. I can do both. 1, 2, 3, 4. Karn with force backup. They have 2 cards in hand. If it's like Force Flusterstorm, then they don't have double blue to cast both. They're tapping a lot of mana in response. Fuck is this? Dig through time. Just gonna force that. I can try to force what they find with dig through time, or I could just clip the dig up front. I can boop their Mox Jet with Karn. What would I wish for? I could cast a 2-mana artifact here. I think that's important. I could needle their Saga. I think I just want to boop a Mox Jet. Okay, kills that. Makes it a 0/0, dies to state-based actions. And I play my Mox Opal. Keep the untapped one. That can untap my construct if necessary. Oh, maybe I should have gotten Lattice, because if they get Pithing Needle here, then I can't wish anymore. But I don't think... I mean, that sucks, but it doesn't really change the game. Karn's still in play being a giant Null Rod. And I still have Manifold Key. Alright, yeah. That does suck. No doubt about it. Taxian Probe yourself. Pretty aggressive there, but go for it. I'm gonna try not to die to my own crypt here. Lost both flips. Brainstorm, they have Hull Breacher in play. I'm not gonna activate that one. If I attack with both of these, they can double block one. I could set up a 2-turn line where I make one of them unblockable and then do it again next turn, but I can also just force blocks and they're still dead next turn. And this has like the fake vigilance if they decide they want to attack. They have to block at least one of these. Gave up on the Hull Breacher, that's fun. That lets me Brainstorm. And that lets me draw Repeal, which gets rid of your idiot, and then lets me cast Ponder. And I found Paradoxical Outcome, which I am good on. Do not shuffle the library. Manifold Key. Untap Mana Crypt. 3/4. Outcome for 4. They don't need to see all that. They didn't even need me to put it on the stack. They know what costs 4 in this format. That was a nice game. Okay, Swords to Plowshares definitely for the Hull Breacher. Flusterstorm, probably want that. Volcanic Island indicates Pyroblast, which is really good against my deck. Sphinx of the Steelwind, not good against blue cards or artifacts. Very good against red cards. Very good against creatures in general. Urkel's Recall. And sweeping up constructs, they are a Saga deck, but I don't think that's the angle where this matchup's going to be won or lost. I'm never shy about shaving a Mox Opal. I'm rarely shy about shaving a Sensei's Top either. And Repeal is a generic answer that could hit Hull Breacher as well. But 4 is just so many of that card. I know I keep saying that, but it's just like, what's going on with these 4 repeals? I'm going in like this. Okay, Black Lotus in the opener is exciting, but it's not really going anywhere. It is the way to cast Bolas' Citadel, but 4 mana is a lot less than 6. And I don't even have a good spell to Snapcaster with. Like, if I had, like, Ancestral and I could Ancestral Snap Ancestral on turn 1, obviously that's nutters, but I could keep this on the strength of Urza Saga. I'm gonna mulligan this. Good sense prevailed. I'll keep this one and send. These are all 3 of the Mox in. Or Sphinx is black. And red can bluff Pyroblast, so I'm going to send Emerald to the bottom. Volcanic Island, Mox Jet, Sensei's Top. Okay. It's going to be one of those games. And they're holding up red, which is the thing that I said I was pretending to do. Sending Emerald to the bottom, immediately punished when I can't turn 1 Karn. Ruby, Jet, get it all out there. Kind of tempted to Brainstorm in response to this top. Like, it puts the shields down on Flusterstorm, but that's my route to another land for Karn. Okay, I don't hate that. Karn with Misstep back up next turn. Karn with Fluster back up 2 turns from now. I didn't do this main phase because I didn't want to get Pyroblasted, and I care a lot about this card. Sensei's Top's really good. Okay, I'm going to put back Karn and Fluster, and then I'll set up my own top, and then I have Fluster and Snapcaster to help me develop. Oh, they missed a land drop. 5 spells over there. Mox Sapphire, get in. Sensei's Top, get in. And I'm going to pass, because if I activate Top now, then I don't have enough mana to Misstep, Snap, Misstep, and cast Flusterstorm. I'm going to Misstep this Brainstorm like a boss. If you miss your land drop, I'm just going after you. Period. We're doing it. Found the land drop and the shuffle effect. Sensei's Top. Going to work here. My turn. Mana Crypt and Karn. I'm going to draw Karn this turn. I can't flip my top into Mana Crypt, unfortunately. I'm just going to pass with Flusterstorm and Snap Misstep up. And then next turn I can Karn with Flusterstorm back up, which shuts off the top, kills the Mox Jet, avoids Pyroblast throughout. Playing around Hullbreacher sucks. That card's annoying. Another land was found. Spin my top. Repeal. Take the Crypt. And we're going to go for it. Crypt. If I flip the top now, Repeal's on top, then I can repeal Sapphire. And even if they jam Hullbreacher here, it taps them out of mana that they could fight over. Yeah, I'm flipping the top. Repeal. Repeal my Sapphire. I'm building Storm to make sure Flusterstorm can actually counter a Force of Will. That's what's going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Karn, let's go. Drawing a card with top. Could just be to cash in before Karn shuts it off. Fetching away the top. That means they're not planning on winning this counter war. Ancestral Recall in response. I think I have to let this resolve. Just winning the fight over Karn, I think, is going to be more important than winning the fight over that Ancestral. Force pitching Fluster. I hope they ended up needing that. Fluster your Force. The Force is countered. What's left over there? Nothing. Karn's in. They have shown me Pithing Needle in their deck. I could just pick off the Jet. I could grab Lattice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It might be a Lightning Bolt deck. I'm going to plus on Jet. Just limit their resources wherever I can. And redeploy the top because they know it's here. My top of my deck is Ponder. Saga. That's the someday problem. Time Walk. It's a more urgent problem. Okay, if they go land, like Snap Time Walk doesn't get a Saga token. Okay, going into my turn. That was a really good Time Walk, turning on the Saga immediately. Drawing Ponder. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Saga token will be a 2/2. I could get Needle instead. I'm going to cast Ponder and see what happens. If they Hullbreacher, then they can't Construct, though that's still really bad for me. Or they can Construct because they get the treasure. Still, might have been a bad Ponder. Okay, aggressively Pyroblasting that. That's cool with me. Activate top. What's under here? Flusterstorm. That's a good one to know about, though I'm out of blue mana. You're never out of blue mana with Tolarian Academy, though. Okay. Mana Vault, Flusterstorm, Academy on top. Draw with top. Academy gets me 1, 2, 3, 4 mana plus 5, 6, 7, 8. Academy. I'm 1 mana short of Lattice with Snap Fluster backup. I could just get the Lattice. Yeah, I'm doing it. Now if they force, it's gonna cost 2 cards. Taking a Saga in response, that's good news. Okay. Oh, right. Forgot that construct becomes a 6/6. So I'll put my blocker down. Okay. All right. I have a blocker. And let's see what Urza Saga can poop out. And that's going to be the last game action they get to take until they clear the Karn. Yeah, I forgot that was a 6/6. Glad I had Ambush Viper chilling. Or Goblin Piker, as the case may be. Block. Okay. Heads, won the flip. Sensei's top. I knew that was there. That Mana Crypt, play top. They can't Force of Will anymore. They can Mental Misstep. Could wish for another top if I need to. Spin the top. Looking for anything here. Okay. I think PO counts as anything. Outcome. And then Academy will be worth more later. Yes, that is accurate. All right. Draw with top. 1, 2, 3, 4. PO up my 4 things. I guess Mindbreak Trap is a card they could cast. I've only cast 2 spells this turn. They can't Mindbreak Trap now. You can't Force of Will because you need a blue card to pitch, and Lattice turns everything colorless. And they packed it up. Great creator. Ooh, Karn coming in strong. On to the final round. 5 for 5 on losing die rolls here. In the final round, I'm already on 7 because I have Bolus, or on 6 because I have Citadel. And the rest of my hand's not exactly inspiring. I mean, double force, double blue card is nice. And then draw step, probe, brainstorm sees a lot of cards. I actually will keep this. I'm sold. And I can brainstorm the Citadel back. We're good. We're good. So far in this league, I have lost to the Bazaar decks we've played against and beat every other deck. Let's see if that pattern holds. My opponent is currently on a mult of 4 and still going. So good chance they're a Bazaar deck. They settled on 4. Mox Pearl. That's usually not in Bazaar decks. Mox Pearl Wasteland. What are you doing over there? Oh, you're some sort of nonsense. Okay. I'm going to pitch Cataxian Probe because I don't think I care what's in this opponent's hand. They have 1 card and they mulled to 4 and cast Thalia. There's some sort of hate bear stuff. Hate bear, whatever, etc. I just drew a really great blue card to pitch to Force of Will. Am I worried about Aven Mind Sensor? No, because I have Force of Will. I do need this Brainstorm to deliver, though. The shields are all the way down on my opponent right now. All right, Brainstorm, take us home. Yikes. Fuck my life. There's no mana source at all. At least the 2 repeals are redraws. Like, I can bounce their Mox Pearl. But, wow. If they have Strip Mine here, my career might be over. Champion of the Parish. I'm gonna let that resolve. Take my time on it. Karn. I'm gonna pass. I know my top card isn't helpful. I can repeal their Mox in their end step, probably. Another Wasteland. Okay, I played around that perfectly. I'll use Lieutenant as the last card in your hand. Alright. I'll force pitching Herx here. I just don't want their 17 turn clock to turn into a 6 turn clock and beyond. Oh, it's actually faster than that because this gets 2 counters. Here comes this jerk, and then I repeal the Mox, drawing the Citadel, and there's a Saga. That gets wastelanded. Still gonna make them do it. And if they don't time it right, I can repeal their creature, which is much better than repealing their Mox. Mox is back. Load of colorless. Valley's Lieutenant. I'll repeal the Champ in response. See what happens. Depending on what I draw here. Okay, Mana Vault. Okay, now I'm interested in keeping my Paradoxical Outcome around. Like, Mana Vault is a card that actually functions. Like, turns PO into maybe something. If I draw any Mox this turn, I can PO draw 2 cards and still have 4 mana left at the end. I guess any non-Opal Mox before I draw. Want to clarify. Ha ha ha! My deck's a fucking wise guy. Alright. Mana Vault, put that into play. I'll hold back the Opal. Do I hold back the Opal? No, that doesn't matter. I'll play it out just in case they draw Thalia. We're almost there. Yeah, if that was any other Mox, Would have been able to PO for 2. Okay, Black Lotus. They do have a card hiding under Horizon Canopy that they can draw whenever. Maybe like not Thalia. How about that? Like a land and pass. Okay, good. I should have specified a land other than Strip Mine and pass. Black Lotus off the top for me. Let's go. Let's do this thing. Sensei's top. Okay, that does turn on the Opal. And here's a cool trick that hasn't come up yet. If you hold priority, tap to draw a card, and then in response, cast Paradoxical Outcome, you get to pick up your top in response to drawing a card. And then when it tries to draw a card, it's not in play to go on top of your deck anymore, but you still get to draw a card. And I just drew Tinker and a land. Okay. Opal, Tundra, plays Time Vault, which plays top, which plays Tinker. If I Tinker now, what happens? If I Tinker the Vault away, getting Key, then I have exactly 2 mana for next turn. It's not quite enough to do what I want to do. But I have Force backup. All right, I think I can take the time to make this work. But if I sack top, then Key, no, it's Vault. They're going to waste me. All right, it's Vault. I'm going to get the Key and pass the turn. You have your Wasteland. I have my Force of Will. And then any mana source off the top wins immediately. Otherwise, I have to endure 2 attack steps. That MONKS is not helpful to them. Okay, things would have to go really unlucky for this to fail. As we barely scrape together a win against an opponent who mulled to 4. They have not Wastelanded me yet. Why not? Oh, because they knew I was drawing Academy. Fair enough. Time Vault. Take all the turns. I'll just go to my next turn. Oh, I do need to tap the Time Vault. That is required. We gonna sit here all day, opponent? Guess so. Berry. Okay. Untap Time Vault. Take an extra turn with Time Vault. Valerian Academy. 4 blue, cast Karn. Karn gets Lattice. That's Lattice. And then go to an extra turn. So I should be spinning top though. Speed things up a little bit here. Urza Saga is also... Alright, thank you, opponent. There we go. They believe I can win the game now. I guess, I mean, waiting till you see a win con, making sure your opponent doesn't stupidly play out a mana crypt and then die to it. All of these are reasons not to concede right away in Vintage. It's fair. I'm not mad at anyone. Alright, Plow and Balance and Sphinx all coming in. Sphinx does not line up well against Swords to Plowshares. Like, the fact that they're a white deck, the protections don't matter, but Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Lifelink are all insanely relevant words. Flusterstorm out. Hurkyl's Recall's probably still good. I have to imagine they have stacks pieces, like at least Thorn of Amethyst. I know they have Thalia, we've seen it. This is a great matchup for 4 repeals, finally coming in strong. I expect Cavern of Souls out of this opponent. Probably, or maybe Null Rod, though we did see a full boat of power over there. I don't know. They have the Brewer's advantage for sure. All right, with my 4 repeals, I'm going to cut Hurkyl's until they show me otherwise. Needle on Wasteland actually might be good for this matchup, because I don't think they can really beat a fully executed Urza Saga. Whatever, I'll make them show it to me. We'll go to game 3 with more information if necessary. Well, we're in Dumpster Town. If my opponent doesn't have like a complete nutter, like if they turn 1 Null Rod, that's bad for me. If they Plains Go, that's good for me. Deafening Silence would have been annoying, but I still would have been able to Ancestral my way through it. Oh my god. Alright. I guess the only real question is if I'm going to respect Mindbreak Trap at all, and I don't think that I am. Lux Pearl. I could play around... I'm not going to play around anything, fuck it. Merchant Scroll, leaving 2 blue in the tank. They already have the Ancestral, so if they do have a Mindbreak Trap, which they don't, I could just get Force of Will here, make sure my Ancestral's good. I'm going to grab a Force of Will. Might be a little lazy, but like if they... I gotta give them credit to have something, right? They kept 7. It's a lot of cards. And with my floating mana, I could brainstorm, or I could activate top, or I could repeal my MONKS, and then... Yeah, I'm gonna repeal my MONKS. Oh, probably wanted to repeal Crypt, actually. Whoops, hope it doesn't matter. And activate top. Okay, pretty good turn 1. Paradoxical Outcome and Time Vault on top. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna put Time Vault 3rd down. Okay, cool. Let's run it. Wasteland is annoying, but not that bad, because if they Wasteland the Academy, then the Saga is here. And they didn't have a 1-drop last turn. If they Wasteland, then they're probably not casting a spell. They know I have Force of Will in my hand, so they have to respect that, wherever that ends up going. Thalia. Do I even care about Thalia anymore? I guess I always care about Thalia. If they juked me and they have the Deafening Silence after Thalia, good job. But I don't think that's a play anyone would make. Want a Crypt flip. Everything's coming up Millhouse. I'm gonna do the top trick and PO to draw 4 cards. Leaving blue floating because my MONKS is white here. Then we got Urza Saga, trigger, and a Crypt, Mox Pearl, redeploy Sensei's top, cast Time Walk, and activate top with my floating mana. I could brainstorm. I can top with the white in case I want the blue. Okay. Sphinx and repeal are both whatever, but let's go to my Time Walk turn. I'm gonna have to answer my Mana Crypt somehow before I win with infinite turns. Karn, oh, the repeal. The repeal is good at that too. Karn, Tinker, repeal are all ways to do that. Urkel's Recall's out of my deck, but that's a way to do it too. Lost the flip. Here. Saga ticks up. Gonna fetch. Mix up the deck a little bit. See if I can win right now. Look at my top 3. He is not there. The Citadel is, sure. And play Time Vault. I have Force back up. The key is coming off the top of Urza Saga. Wasteland breaks this up, but it leaves a 5/5 creature in play. We've had a lot of Vintage matchups so far. My opponent, one of the things you can do in Vintage is try to play a lower power format, like drag the game into a situation that your opponent's not really ready to play. And if the hook's in, like if Thalia and Archon of Emeria, if like the hooks get in, that is a hard matchup to play. But if they don't get the hooks in and you're just doing Vintage shit and they're playing Plains, Horizon Canopy, Thalia, then that's why I like to be an actual Vintage deck when I play Vintage. This is not a Wasteland, and it's not a Cavern. The Force of Will's looking good. Kitesail Freebooter. I don't care about that. Yeah, okay, resolves. If they take Force of Will, I can repeal the booter and get my Force back. If they take repeal, then I still have Force. It's whatever. If they did line up a turn where they could boot plus Nullrod, that would have been a pretty cool turn, but I have it covered. And I'm still not sure, even if I didn't have it covered, if that line beats 5/5 Construct. Phyrexian Revoker. Okay. I'm gonna float mana, make a 5/5, repeal Freebooter. Oh wait, I kind of want the repeal. No, I'll find another answer. Repeal Booter, get my Force back, force the Revoker, and now they have to... I mean, with the 2 constructs... Yeah, with the 2 constructs, Mana Crypt doesn't even matter. They're just going to be dead way faster than that. Okay, boom. Outmuscled a non-powered... Well, it's powered, but like a... I don't want to call it a non-vintage deck. I don't want to call it a budget deck. It's just a sideways strategy, a like perpendicular strategy to the normal Vintage format. But we beat it. 3-2, positive record with Paradoxical Outcome. Lost to the 2 Bizarre decks, beat all the other decks, which sounds about right. My Bizarre opponents did keep 7 a lot. But even those Bizarre matchups were close. I lost all 5 die rolls in this league, which is good because I think I won 5 die rolls the other day, and I need to make sure I can keep complaining about bad luck. If it evens out, then it's no good. But I've gone 0-5 on die rolls in like 4 or 5 leagues lately, and 5-0 in 1, so I still get to keep whining. But in seriousness, I lost 2 close matchups to bizarre decks where they were on the play and they kept 7. And that's vintage. We had good matches in both of them. Like, they were both really close. And we got to at least showcase how those matchups play out and how tight it really is sometimes. And this deck felt good. Not having Pyroblast, kind of weird, but we only played against 1 blue deck in the league. And it wasn't even a blue deck where Pyroblast seemed really essential. Like, I'm not sure that deck had Tinker in it. I'm not sure. That deck definitely didn't have PO in it. Hull Breacher's a good card, but, like, I don't know. The Flusterstorm seemed to do enough. Never drew to Fairy. Karn was insane. Every time Karn arrived, the game was over. Snapcaster was pretty good. Never triggered Mentor, but Mentor is usually pretty good. Just, we did a lot of Paradoxical Alcheming and a lot of Tinkering in this league, and we barely had to play fair. Urza Saga was great. How quickly the Vault Key comes together when you just have 5 copies of Key, basically, and 4 of them arrive directly into play without spending mana. Lets you just focus on your Time Vault. It's so good. I love Vintage. This was a great league. Paradoxical Alchem is a great deck. Everybody, make sure to check out the links for the OK Land Run event. If traveling to play Magic is in your budget and in your interest right now, the OK Land Run is a great place to go to do that. Check out the links. If you missed my info ad read at the beginning, it's right after the deck tech. It gives you more information about the tournament series. Go check that out. Thank you all for watching. Jeremy, thanks for the deck. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out all the other links down there, and I'll see you next time.